And we're back.
And we back.
As you can see, absolutely nothing is different.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed at all.
I made it.
We have been in the
Spencer
same
made
spot.
it.
Yeah, he teleported here.
I did not think I was going to make it today.
We're glad you did, buddy.
Yes,
Thanks for taking the time.
Right?
But I believe we were in the middle of a discussion of the most mentally taxing
Yes,
sport.
we were. Yes, we were.
You were still making your point?
I'll say Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was the most perfect specimen for boxing. He should have been the next Tyson in a sense.
Yeah, he's Dwight Howard with boxing gloves. Should have just dominated everybody.
Yeah, and he
no.
and that's all. He only relied on that. When it came to actual skill and technique, he had none.
I think, me personally, I think I would fundamentally he was trash. You could literally knock him out.
He's relying on his raw talent.
He relied on
But
his power and his
His
wild
talent
swings.
was otherworldly. I mean, that. So the way I compare it, because if you look at Anthony Joshua compared to Deontay Wilder, if you were looking at them at face value, more than likely you're going to pick Anthony Joshua to be the winner of that fight because that man is a walking Hulk. But even though he has
Pete Carrot.
even though he has that strength and has that ability to do it, Deontay Wilder still had a striking background where he may be throwing wild, but they were accurate throws.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. But
Anthony Joshua did not. He
No.
relied on pure power.
okay,
The only
Anthony Joshua would throw that. He would throw that hook, but he's know where he's throwing that hook. If he misses, that's because you did something right.
no, yeah, that's what I think. Anthony Joshua's more technical than Deontay Wilder.
Nobody's ever seen a golfer and said, "Wow, what natural ability they have." They've been playing since they were a kid. Even him, he played since he was a kid. So even him, it's like, no, he had to practice this fucking long. He wasn't just going out there like, oh, buddy can hit the ball far. Because they have the long drive competitions. Those dudes can drive the ball 400 yards. They don't make the tournament cuts.
Is Adam Sandler or Happy Gilmore the record holder over there?
You know, there's actually a golfer named Happy Gilmore.
Really?
He's from Indiana. He's going to Ball State. He's probably going to
Is
be
he known
good.
for driving?
He's good.
Is he known for driving?
No.
Okay.
But he's got a sweet golf name. But that's the thing. Like the guys who do the long drive competitions, they can drive a par 4 or par 5, and they still don't make the tournaments for golf.
That's crazy.
They can get to the green in 2 shots, and they're still not good enough to beat these other guys who can only drive it like 300 yards as opposed to 450. So
Why is that?
that's the thing. It's because it's so mentally taxing. These guys have the physical raw tools to drive the shit out of that ball, and then when it comes to the mental part, they got nothing.
Yep.
They have no short game. They can't, because you'd think they'd be able to make a tournament or a cut or something. Like, dude, they're on the green. I'm laying up.
Yeah.
Still not doing it.
Yeah. I even going back to what y'all were saying, just like you can have all the physical attributes or just have all the athleticism in the world, but if you can't put the mental part and putting the time in, that's where most of the people, and it don't matter what sport it is, they all flame out. They
Right.
just don't. They hit their
True.
peak way too fast
True.
and don't extend their career long enough because they don't do the little things and, like you said, like the mental things of the sport.
There's only been a handful of guys in any sport that have just relied on physical raw talent alone. Anthony Davis is one of them.
Oh
Yeah.
Physically,
Hey,
no.
Carl Anthony Towns is one as well.
Yeah. It's like I know what I can do, and I'm just not going to
Once
work on
Carl
anything.
Anthony Towns got bullied, that man went to a shell.
James
Ain't
Harden
came out since.
James Harden
doesn't work on shit. Just
No.
goes to the script club.
Make it rain, baby.
Let me get them wings at the strip club.
So they got
He's in
all you
there.
can eat ribs, baby.
Hell yeah. How many? He's like Googling. How many calories does a lap dance burn? Receiving one. Not doing one. Receiving one. Damn, not very many. Okay. I guess I got to jog a little bit. So I'll jog from Magic City to Onyx. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how I stay in shape. In my velour suit.
He does spend a lot of time in the titty bars.
Yeah, there's
He
lots
does.
of pictures to confirm this.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just brings duffel bags of money,
I'm
just
pretty sure
full
he's-
of money,
They say he's got bands under his beard. I don't know.
probably. Which always throws me off with these athletes. Like, why do you guys don't even need to be in a titty bar to get that kind of attention from women?
Hey, maybe he just likes it,
They
man.
don't want commitment. Maybe they just show me your titties. Hey, maybe these
You can
girls
see
are like,
titties for free on the internet, man.
Well,
Whatever ones you want to see. Just Google them.
I mean,
And they'll be like, here's the titties you're looking for. I think that's part of it. I think it's the money throwing, honestly.
Just them being able to go in there and throw that money because they
Right.
can, because they have it.
Just make all the normies look like fucking peasants.
Damn right.
Like, I
Look
bet
at all
you wish you could do
filthy
this.
peasants.
Here's your paycheck.
Y'all can't afford these titties.
Right?
I can.
That's me throwing your paycheck on some pasty white girl with big old fake titties. Play another Def Leppard song.
Woo!
You can't do that. That's all it is. I think it's just a flex thing. You're right.
Yeah.
Fucking James Harden. James Harden. I'll
Not as bad as
fool with
Lamar
it.
Odom, though, so. He was in a brothel. At least he's in a titty bar.
That's true.
Lamar Odom was in a brothel, face down,
I kinda
fucked up
respect
on
that
cocaine and opiums.
I kind of respect that more. At least you were getting what you paid for.
And he was with the
Strip club you paid
Kardashians,
for, you ain't
too.
getting shit. You're paying for blue
You
balls?
just-
That's
yeah,
interesting.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
At least
So that
Lamar
just
was
goes
getting
to
what he
show
paid
that
what he
that
wanted.
Kardashian cat really ain't that good. He got to go to a brothel.
Yeah.
Or it
Yeah,
was
now
too
I'm
good.
done.
Just turned
Had
his
to bring
ass, did a
himself down.
180.
He's had to get out
Made
of
him
heaven.
go
I don't know what to do with my life.
It's above my pay grade.
I don't know what to do with my life now.
I gotta go with some of you filthy bitches. Or women, I apologize.
Yeah, come on.
Filthy women.
Sorry, ladies, if you're listening.
I understand. It's a respectable profession.
Being a woman?
Nowadays.
Heading back in the wrong direction.
If we get canceled, I'm sorry.
Y'all ready for the next topic?
Yeah, yes.
Nick, I think you should roll it in again because this was your idea.
I got you, my guy. I
Bring
got
your
you.
baby.
I do like this.
So
I do too.
I was thinking of the career path, and I really wanted to go a different route, and I was gonna do defense. It's like no, I was like I want to do something different, and I was like, you know what? Let's do coaches.
Hell
So I was like, what coaches could be comparable? And these two I thought were probably the most comparable was Mike Tomlin and Pete Carroll. They both went to 2 Super Bowls, and they only won 1.
Correct.
They've had a franchise quarterback.
They eventually lost.
They had great defenses, historic defenses.
True.
Yeah. it's
So
true.
so they had quite a few similarities.
And not to cut you off, but on top of that, they both draft well.
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
They
When
do.
you think about it, they both draft
They have
well.
always had a good
They've
team.
been
At
known
least
as
a
players,
relevant.
coaches.
They were
Yes.
very much players coaches. Hey, when Mike Tomlin was in the locker room doing that, I told him, bro, I was like, this guy.
yeah.
Not
this
to cut you
guy.
off, I was just thinking about that as they,
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So you guys want to kind of say something about them or pick what you want, and then I give you the.
I probably picked Tomlin because I'm not the age of a fucking dinosaur. So
That was one of my
That's
arguments
just
for
because
Tomlin.
black don't crack, baby.
Actually,
age like fine wine.
you might. They're actually the same age.
That's funny.
You might find that hard to believe.
That's
Yeah, Mike Tomlin's
wild.
actually 70.
No, he's not.
Black don't crack. They're the same age. He just looks like he's younger.
That's funny.
Is he at least in his 50s by now?
No, I think he's still in his 40s.
Is
Mike
he?
Tomlin?
Let's see,
He's
let's
Because
young
he
as shit.
became a very young head coach. I know that.
Mike Tomlin is.
At the time, he was one of the
sorry, he's
youngest.
51.
There you
Oh, yeah.
go.
He was pretty damn good for
But
51
he's
too.
been the head
right?
coach of the Steelers for got to be almost 20 years now.
Since 2007.
Yeah,
So over 20
16.
years. Okay.
almost.
Math.
Over 20 years.
16.
16.
2007 to
2007 to
2023.
2023.
Oh,
23
yeah.
minus 7 is
Yeah.
still 16.
Yeah, that's true.
He won a Super Bowl early, though.
He did.
He won a Super Bowl
He went
early.
to 2 Super Bowls early.
Big Men don't have 2? I thought he had 2 rings.
He did, but one with Jeff Cowher.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That was like his last. That was his last one, wasn't
Right.
it? His last year.
But would you say that Tomlin should won the Super Bowl with somebody else's team? Because he was on this. Technically, he was on
He
the
kind of
staff.
did.
he was on the staff.
He was on the staff, but it wasn't technically his team. And I guess he just got gifted that team.
Kind of.
Because Pete was a lot different. He had to rebuild the team.
That is
after,
true.
After
There you go.
Marshawn and them left.
But-
Well, not Marshawn left, but a lot of the GMs and all that got fired and
But
stuff. So.
but Tomlin has been one
Schneider.
of the most consistent winning coaches in I don't know what, past 30, 40 years.
Holds the record for most consecutive winning seasons for a
Yes.
head coach in the NFL.
Like-
16.
Like,
Yeah,
I get what you're saying,
definitely.
and I do agree with that. He inherited that Super Bowl team, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
But he has maintained success. No, he hasn't been, he hasn't won a Super Bowl since then, but they're in the playoffs almost every year. If not, they are, on the cusp every year.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've had a winning season, so yeah,
They've
they're on the cusp
had-
every year.
Yeah,
You're
and
right.
he has done a very good job of maintaining a good team,
Yeah,
of being able to
definitely,
put
definitely.
players where they need to be.
Especially in a tougher division too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's hard. Same can be said for Pete Carroll because he completely rebuilt that team.
Yeah, he
And he not
yeah.
only did it do it once, he just did it again.
He did it again. And another thing I would say about Carroll is
You a real one,
he's
dog.
won at both levels. I mean, there was another coach
There
named
you
Nick
go.
Saban that couldn't do that. It
No,
had to
he
go-
couldn't.
He could not.
Because
win
what he
college.
could, Saban
Twice.
coached with the Dolphins.
Yeah, he was at LSU, went to the Dolphins, came back to Alabama.
Yep.
So
Pete
and it was a
Carroll-
short stint too.
Pete Carroll won 2 national championships.
2 national championships.
And then he won a Super Bowl.
And he's also been to 2 Super Bowls. So
Yeah.
So yeah, he's won at both levels. So
Pete Carroll, why
can't
couldn't
say
you
that
just
about
give him the
many
ball to
coaches.
beast mode? Come on, man.
pretty much.
He would have had to.
Would have had to.
I think I choose Pete Carroll just because of his success at both levels, and I feel like he had a tougher route to his Super Bowl than Mike Tomlin did. But
Okay.
it's very, very close just because Mike Tomlin has proved he's a good coach. Yeah, I inherited this team, but I haven't had a losing season my entire career until last year. And he had a rookie quarterback. Like
And Tomlin has
expected.
lost like high quality talent
he has.
through the years. High quality talent.
He has.
Yeah.
Both of them have really.
Yeah.
So it's like, would you rather be white or black?
Yeah. My God.
Race war. You know what? Scratch that. I want to be a cool, smooth talking black dude.
There you go.
I'm taking Tomlin.
Yep.
I changed my answer. I want to be the Denzel Washington of the NFL.
Damn right. Damn right.
Yeah, I got Tomlin.
You got Tomlin?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
Tomlin.
Okay. Drew?
Although, I mean,
What
I
do you
just don't
think?
like Pete Carroll because, not don't like him.
Because he
but-
never stops chewing gum.
Well, that too, but
He said, well, that too.
no, we beat him.
That
If
too.
I'm not mistaken, didn't Texas beat him?
Yeah. To win the
USC,
national championship.
yeah.
Yes, they did.
yes.
So he could have got
Yeah,
3.
with Vince Young, yeah. But yeah, that's the only reason why. I mean, ain't nothing.
He said, just fuck him.
Well, that
him
too.
forever.
Plus, also, I'm still gonna hold him accountable for the damn 1 yard pass.
Yeah, that's
bro.
tough, man.
That's tough.
That's a bad
Yeah,
look.
that-
'cause we
I
all know
mean,
that's his
do
fault.
you really? It was. I mean, do you think Mike would have done the same thing?
No.
No. He running that ball with Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. You're running it with Marshawn.
That also shows
4
the
times in
difference
a
between
row.
a good quarterback and a quarterback who just follows orders.
That's
Because a
100%
good
true, too.
quarterback,
Would've
a
said, "No,
quarterback
we're
in
running
charge
this
of his
shit."
offense would have fucking audibled.
You could thank me later.
Yeah.
He would have
definitely.
changed that play in the huddle,
Which that's
And
100% what Russell Wilson would do. Yes, coach.
which is what he did. He did do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Beast Mode even said in multiple interviews when he came in the huddle and said that, he laughed. He was like, he thought he was joking,
Right.
and he purposely lined up on the wrong side.
It's like, no, you're
Yeah.
giving me the ball.
Yeah,
I'm getting in here. Like, I will sacrifice my entire life.
I do
to get in
believe
this
if
end
that would have
zone.
been Big Ben in that situation, would have changed it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or he would have done
Peyton
the
Manning,
quarterback
Tom
sneak.
Brady,
He'd be
or he
"I'm
would have
big,
taken
take me
himself.
down, bitch.
But these guys would have changed the play. They would have
Yeah.
changed the play. Like, oh, I get where you're going, go coach, but we're out here and
Yeah.
we want to win the Super Bowl.
Captain Corny would have
Yeah.
been like, "No, guys, that's what coach ordered. That's the play he called. That's the play he wants. That's what we're
Yeah.
gonna do."
Yeah.
If-
Unlimited.
If I was beast mode, I would have just picked up Rustin and just ran in with him.
I would have took the ball from
I would
him.
have grabbed.
Give me that fucking ball,
if He was
bitch.
holding the ball. I would have just grabbed him. I mean, grabbed him and ran in. Yeah. We getting in here somewhere, but do you think that's going to be Pete Carroll's, like, whenever he comes?
Bro, I
comparing
don't
him
know
to
because
somebody?
I mean,
they made the playoffs last year with Geno Smith.
Yeah.
They revived Geno.
yeah, they were
Smith.
they were supposed to finish last in their division last year.
And they got
like,
better.
and
They
they
killed
yeah.
the draft.
Yeah,
again.
and as bad of a call as that was, and it was probably one of the most horrid calls
Oh,
in
he-
all of football.
yeah.
When it comes to his resume, his success, and everything else, you can look past it. You can look
Yeah.
past it
And if
for
he
sure.
if he keeps that success going with this team,
yeah,
Yeah.
I think for-
that could boost.
yeah,
his-
and I think
definitely
for the
boost his
most
board
part, I
for
think
sure.
everybody's already looked past it. I think Beast Mode might be the only one who hasn't, which is
yeah.
fair.
rightfully so.
which is
Right.
fair because
You know, it's funny too because he also said he was like, if they would have given me the ball and I wouldn't have made it in, he was like, I can live with that because I had the ball.
Yeah.
He was like, but because you had me and you chose not to use me, he was like, I'll never be able to just like let
Live
it
that
go
down.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So if Pete Carroll does not win another Super Bowl, then will it, or will his
I think
still?
to me it's very close. I'm not
I'm
mad
sorry,
at
but
anybody choosing either one.
In all honesty, I think both of them have the same exact chance to potentially win something. I think Seahawks might have a little bit more, but I think just because as young
They have the better team.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is going to do nothing but get better. I see Pittsburgh has a higher ceiling than what Seattle does right now.
Seattle has the higher floor by far,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
Pittsburgh does have the higher ceiling.
100%.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
And they're both. I mean, Pittsburgh's younger, but Seattle's relatively young. I mean, you take away Bobby Wagner, and they're
like 12.
pretty. Yeah.
Well,
12.
Gino's old, but he doesn't.
Hey,
he
Oh,
didn't have any
Bobby
mileage.
Wagner and Gino.
He could probably
Zero
play till he's
mileage.
40.
But it took
no
Gino
mileage.
10 years to finally develop into something, and we don't even know if that's something. We just seen him do it for one season. So
That's enough for me, man. I saw enough, I think.
no, I liked what I saw.
And
I'm not saying he's not good. You
Right.
obviously showed that. We get one more year of that,
All they did was give him another good running back and an awesome slot receiver.
and again
The
that
best
goes back
receiver
to
in the
Pete
draft.
Carroll knowing his players and
Right.
knowing what he needs to do
Definitely.
to take pressure off of Gino.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Got him
man.
another really good running back in the draft. Got him the best receiver in the draft. Upgraded that
Yes.
defense. He
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, we're gonna make sure all you have to do is either hand the ball or throw. You don't need to think about nothing else. You don't need to worry about nothing else. We're gonna cover what slack you can't pick up."
Bro, they got a sneaky
Yeah,
1-2 punch at
definitely.
corner.
Yes, they
They're
do.
gonna be if
They're gonna-
Witherspoon's
yeah.
anything, they're gonna
and
be
that
nasty.
that rookie they
That's
had
gonna be
last
still the
year,
draft.
he gets
Still.
overlooked by Sauce Gardner, but
Yeah,
he was
Tariq
on the
Woolen?
same
That's what I
level.
said.
He was.
I said I
very-
think
yeah.
he should have got it over.
When
Sauce.
you look at his numbers,
and I like
numbers,
Sauce.
And I actually watched the video the other day.
He
and
shoulda
it was
got
saying
it.
that like it was saying
shoulda
like he
got
had
it.
6 interceptions and 2, and Sauce had 2. But they were saying they both play zone corner, so they kind of don't follow the number 1 receiver. But they were saying there was a good case for Tariq Woolen to win Rookie of the
I
Year.
think
Yeah.
they're both good. No, I know they play a lot of zone, but I think in a given situation in any like man coverage, they could probably take any number 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Tariq had a lower completion percentage against him by far against
Yeah.
versus
Yeah,
Sauce.
I think it was like
I think Sauce just got
53
more
to, like,
coverage 'cause he
50.
plays
And
in New
he's
York.
he's a big dude too. Like he's
Yeah, he's like-
he's
and
like
he just learned how to play
6'3",
corner, didn't he?
6'4",
Yeah, right?
6'4", Like he's
I'm telling you,
I
man.
think he just learned how to play corner too. I
Him
don't
and
think-
Witherspoon together.
yeah. It's literally Richard Sherman 2.0,
Pretty much.
but possibly better.
Pretty much, yes.
Like he's
More the
starting
physical
off
attributes,
better.
but yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So
They're going to be one of the best secondaries in the league. Second best secondary in the NFC, in my opinion.
Who you going with number 1?
Jair Alexander, Rasul Douglas, and Eric Stokes.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. I got no argument.
We got
Pass the
two of
mic.
them. We got 2 corners that can run 4-3.
And
They're
when
keeping
one
up
of
with
them
everybody.
consistently shuts down JJ,
He after
I-
calling it out, like, hey, he's not doing shit this game. Sorry.
no, I mean, yeah, he calls him out every time they play and he backs it up.
That's wild.
He's-
You
he's
should
the
not be
number
able
one
to call out
corner
the
in
best
the
wide
league.
receiver in NFL
Yeah.
and say, I'm going to shut you down.
So, well, let me give you all their stats real quick.
Yes. This
So-
might change my mind.
So,
Nerd.
I'll give you
I do too.
I'll give you Pete Carroll first, and then I'll give you Mike Tomlin. So Pete Carroll, he coached for 17 years. He's only coached for 13 years with Seattle.
Dude, that's wild that there are the same amount, almost the same amount of NFL coaching seasons too.
Yes.
They are very closely
Yes.
related. Good job,
Yes.
buddy.
17 and 6.
Good job, man. That was a
So-
great choice.
So 13 years with Seattle. I'll give you I'll give you the first ones of the teams he wasn't
There you go.
really coaches for first, and then I'll give you Seattle's. So he coached with the Jets for 1 year and New England for 3 years. So with the Jets, they were 6-10. With New England,
the
went
Jets.
10-6, 9-7, and 8-8.
That's pretty good.
So
It's
I
all
mean,
winning records?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he coached from 94 to 99. So that's where he was. That's when he was coaching in the NFL. Then he went to USC.
Yeah.
After the 99 season. So from 2000 to 2010, he was in college. So up until he got into the NFL in 2010, 2010 was his first year being the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, and they went 7-9. They went 7-9 back to back.
Okay. I remember that
Then-
because that was one of the teams that beat the New Orleans Saints
Yes.
when they were the number
Typical
one seed.
Dallas
They should not have
Cowboys,
won.
record there.
Right.
Typical Dallas.
So
Hell yeah.
they, and I think that was like on the tail end of the Sean Alexander years as well, wasn't it? Yeah, I think you might have been maybe. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. So he went to 2012. 2012 was their 11-5 record. Had a pretty decent team after his third year being there.
Yeah.
So they're starting to move up. Well, the next season they went fucking crazy,
Yeah.
and they went to the Super Bowl in 2013 and won that hoe. So he changed them in 4 years.
Who did they beat their first Super Bowl? Was it Broncos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
That was when Peyton Manning set
was
all the
not even
records,
close.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was not even close. It was hard to watch.
It was hard to watch.
It was
Yes,
an
it was.
absolute ass whooping. 100%.
Then after that, the team started to come back, and they went 12-4. So he made it back to the Super Bowl, but I mean, we all know the fumble of the bag
Yeah.
of not giving Beast
One
Mode.
play away
just
from
give it
going
to me.
back to back.
It's right there. I can just run it over there.
Literally
So-
right there.
That's my job.
yeah. So I mean,
The camera's farther.
he had a bit of. He took a bit of flack for that because of that call. So I mean, it kind of hurt him a little bit.
Yeah.
So after that, we'll just kind of speed through until we get to the 2022 season. So from 2014 to 2022, 2014 starting it, they went 12-4. So they were still decently
Still good.
competitive.
Yeah.
10-6,
Yep.
That's a good
10-5,
Yep.
That's a good season.
9-7,
Yep.
10-6,
Yep.
That's good.
11-5,
Yep.
12-4,
Yep.
7-10,
Nope.
9-8. 2021 and 2022 were their 7-10 and 9-8. What you got?
But just like his first 2 years with Seattle, he was rebuilding that team. And
Yep.
these past 2 years, he has been rebuilding that team. So if you
Yes.
notice a trend there,
Yes.
like they're still competitive in his
Yes.
rebuilding, in him
Years.
rebuilding the teams. But
Yep.
they just made the playoffs going 9 and whatever.
9-8.
And I bet they win at least 10
Their
games this
Vegas
season.
win total was 5.5.
Yeah.
Nobody thought they would be anything,
Yeah.
You're only gonna give them
including
one
Las
more
Vegas, who doesn't lose on
game. They're
bets.
9-8 last.
It is. Well,
You talk-
it was.
It was.
I think it's just the 49ers is their only competition.
Niners
The
is
Rams
the-
and Cardinals aren't going to be
The
good.
Rams
Yeah,
are-
they're not gonna be-
yeah,
yeah, they're
I'm
not
about
gonna be
to say, Yeah.
They'll be better. The Rams will be better. They're going to give. They'll probably surprise a couple teams this
so
year.
what you think Pete's gonna get this year then?
I think they're going to. I think I predicted them to go 10-7. One win improvement, but I think they have a tougher schedule. So I think they'll be a better team. They're actually going to play better, but their schedule got a little bit harder. They'll improve by one win. I have them as a wild card,
I got
and they travel so fucking much.
They are.
It's
the most
wild
traveling
how
team.
much they travel.
I got 'em,
One thing we haven't brought up though, Seahawks have to thank Denver
Yeah.
for that. They made the playoffs.
Oh,
They
yeah.
still had a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you,
They pretty much, yeah,
Broncos.
so that's good. That's actually going further than just Pete Carroll, and that's talking about
Yeah.
the GM and all that.
A lot of
So
people
that-
saying
yeah.
let's ride.
So
in
the
No,
Seattle-
only-
yeah. So
Yeah. Not only will Pete Carroll be known for one of the worst play calls in NFL history,
Yeah.
he's going to be known for one of the biggest finesses in NFL history.
Offsets, I guess.
Woo! Calm down. Calm down.
One of, yes, that's one of
One
them.
of
One
them.
of
Yes.
the
One
biggest.
of them.
That's what I just
Not-
said.
Well, no, he said one of.
I said one
Did
of
he?
the biggest
I thought
finesses.
I didn't hear him say one of.
He
I
said
didn't hear
one
him say
of.
one
I
of.
said one of,
said one
not
of.
the
I thought he
biggest.
said the
One
biggest.
of.
We all
the
know
biggest.
who the biggest one was.
We know the biggest finesse.
I say,
Yeah.
slow down, slow
Where's
down.
his card at? You
Another
got his
reason to
card.
hate Minnesota. You fucking idiots. It could have been us out there in the 90s winning.
Yeah.
You all fucked it up and gave the Cowboys
Yeah.
everything they wanted. Stupid.
Thank you, Minnesota. Skull,
Yeah.
skull, skull.
Beat your fucking skull in.
If Seattle can make it to a Super Bowl, I think it'd be a top 5 finesse of all time.
Yeah.
It might be number 2.
Be number 2.
If
Just the fact they made the
happens-
playoffs last year is
yeah,
enough for me.
If that
and
hap-
everything that they got.
I think if they make it to the NFC Championship, it make potential for the number 2 biggest finesse.
And I think they still have a first-round pick from Denver for next year, too.
They do.
Yeah.
They have 2 first-round
They
picks
do.
next year.
They just had to have Denver suck again.
Man, you go, Denver. You guys
we
are
suck again.
And even if you don't,
Are you high or something out there?
You still got your own,
Boy,
bro.
Yes.
make me not even.
It depends how good they. If they do really good this season, I could see them trading
Yeah.
up into the first round or trading for like a game changing
Yes.
player.
So
Get Aaron Donald on the defense.
that would. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all Mike Tomlin now, since
Okay.
I gave you Pete Carroll.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So we're gonna start it off with Pete Carroll jumping in at a very young, tender age of 35 in 2007.
You said Pete Carroll,
Did you
sir.
say Pete
Oh,
Carroll?
Pete Carroll, my bad, Mike
You said
Tomlin.
Pete Carroll.
I was looking at
Maybe
Pete
do it.
Carroll.
He
My
had-
bad.
He had 2 lives.
Yeah.
Boy.
White pride took over.
Turning it back, baby. Turning back the clock. So you got a 07, 35 years old, went 10-6. Then the next year, 08, went to the Super Bowl, won that hoe.
Yeah.
Then they were 12-4, so he had a pretty decent jump.
That was
What you
Big
got?
Ben's.
Keep going.
So then we got 09, they went 9-7.
Keep going.
2010, 2010,
Uh-huh.
they went 12-4,
Uh-huh.
and then they lost in the Super Bowl.
Who they lose to? The fuck out of here! Fuck the Steelers.
Yes.
Haven't been back since.
Oh no, not the semi.
Oh god damn. He's got to make it home. He's got a fucking truckload full. He ain't get paid for this load yet.
So we need that money. So he made it to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, if it wasn't for one of the best teams in NFL history,
Yes.
he would have won too. He didn't make any bad play calls that game. He just played a great,
Yep.
amazing team. Sorry, Tomlin. I like you, dude. You're cool. But I'll do it to you every time.
I do see.
So
So your time, dog.
then after that, 2011, they went 12-4 again. Still
Yeah,
relatively
that's
good.
That's
Yeah.
some great teams, man.
And then they fell off and went 8-8, 8-8 for 2 years, from 2012 to 2013.
Is that the Cowboys?
Are you sure Jason Garrett wasn't the coach for
That's not the Jason
then?
Garrett here?
Jason Garrett wasn't the coach then? He said
Uh,
8
with
8
all
2
them
seasons
eights,
in a
yeah,
row.
you might as well think he was.
That's the only reason why we got the 88 club.
Jason Garrett in disguise.
Mike Garrett.
out there doing his greatest Robert
didn't
Downey
suck, but we
impression.
weren't good.
I'm the dude playing
I'm
the
a
dude disguised as another dude.
So they had their 8-8 seasons, and then Mike turned it back up. From 2014 to 2017, they were all double-digit season
Hell yeah.
winning seasons. So 2014 went 11-5, 15 they went 10-6, 2016 they went 11-5, and 2017 they were 13-3.
Nice.
That's shows that from that gap from 2014, 2017, that's Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. So
Yep.
that's great drafting to rebound,
BBB.
to bounce back from, and you got them later on in the draft too. So they were
was gonna
still
say
from the
neither
draft.
one of them were a
Neither one were
first-round
first round
pick.
draft pick. So that was a great,
And they both came from
great-
Michigan.
Yeah, great way to bounce back for sure.
They both came from Michigan schools, not known for producing great
Yes.
NFL talent.
Yes.
I believe
At the
Antonio Brown was a 6th or 7th round pick. And I think Le'Veon was a 4th or 5th round.
Can't remember.
4th. I think he was
Yeah.
right there in the middle.
Michigan State and Central Michigan.
Yeah.
Obvious powerhouse schools known for being
And then-
overloaded with talent.
Then the only thing that sucked for them was CTE just kind of took over and destroyed the team from the inside out. So
Oh.
yeah.
they even though it hurt him, he still didn't have a losing season.
Nope.
For the next 2 years after 2017, his best season playing, other than winning the Super Bowl, going 13-3, had a great team. They went 9-6 and 8-8.
So that 13-3, did they get bounced in the first round of the divisional run?
I think
It
so.
was
yeah.
2017. Who was that? Was it New England?
Yeah, they fell off a cliff.
It
at the
might
end.
have been Jacksonville. Whenever
Blake
Blake
Bortles?
Bortles went on that run,
Oh,
yeah,
AFC
that might have
Championship,
been that might have been it.
Blake
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Bortles.
Fucking Blake Bortles. Fucking Blake Bortles. Oh my god. Yeah.
That running back was who was their running back?
For
That was he a rookie for Jacksonville?
No,
Who,
he
Leonard
wasn't in Tampa
Fournette?
Bay yet.
it was Leonard Fournette. It might have been Leonard
Was it?
Fournette.
Was it Chris
It-
Ivory? You all keep talking. I'm gonna look up the
I got you. I got
Jacksonville,
you. I got you.
Saxonville,
I think-
because they were called Saxonville that year.
Yeah, I think it is. I forgot he went. I forgot his old ass came.
Because
from over
Miles
there.
Jack was the
Did he-
linebacker then
Yes.
too.
40
He
years
was
old playing
early in
college
his
ball.
early in his years as
Was
well.
he not?
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. Yeah, that is that. Yeah, that Jacksonville team was crazy. Yeah.
2017, right?
Yeah, 2017.
Somebody keep talking so there's no silence.
I got you. I got you. So, well, after that 2017 year, they went 9-6, 8-8. So they kind of fell off a little bit. But in 2020,
Yeah, rookie
but
year.
in 2020,
Chris Ivory was still on the team.
he was.
It was an amazing duo of Leonard Fournette and Chris Ivory
Yeah.
and T.J. Yeldon.
Oh, TJ
T.J.
Yeldon.
Yeldon.
Oh my goodness.
TJ Yeldon, man, he was supposed to be something coming out of Alabama too.
Yeah.
That was remember Alan Hearns and Marquise
Yeah.
Lee,
Yep.
Keelan Cole, D.D. Westbrook.
Wow.
Marquise Lee was supposed to be something out of Oklahoma too. He was supposed
Yeah.
to be the next
Stacked with
one.
wide
Yeah.
receiver threes. Yeah, well,
Chris
Mercedes
Ivory
Lewis
had
and
that
James
one-
O'Shaughnessy.
Chris Ivory had that one good year with the Jets and just
Mercedes
Yeah,
Lewis was
couldn't
still
do
40
nothing
years old
else.
at
Couldn't
that
do
time
nothing
because he's the oldest person in football other than kickers. Saxonville.
So we got 2020. They brought it back. Went 12-4. 2021 9-7. 2022 9-8. So
Oh, they did have a winning record last year.
yeah,
I thought they lost.
Yeah.
So has he never had a losing
He's
season?
never
as
had a
coach
losing
then?
season.
That's
never had a
impressive.
losing
I was just
season.
looking at that,
The
yeah.
lowest.
That's
the
impressive.
8-8 is the lowest he's
it's
ever done.
500.
He's
Yeah.
gone 500.
They technically consider that a winning season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it can't be either. It has to be either or.
I would say the low point of the 2020 season when they were 11-0 and they went obviously only won 2 games out of the last 4 or 5 games. That was a low point because
Yeah.
remember that's when they got upset by Cleveland. So if there's a knock on Carroll, that would be the knock on Tomlin.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had a great team and it just imploded
Yep.
at the wrong time.
what are their winning percentages? I know it's gotta
Overall?
be high. I know
Overall?
that.
That's high.
Yeah, like their overall
Overall?
winning percentage.
So.
It should say at the
Like
bottom
more
with
than
the
Pete
that.
career.
Pete Carroll's winning percentage is .589.
So
That's his-
59% if you want to round
That's his win percentage.
59%.
So Mike Tomlin is .636.
Oh, wow. So 64%.
Cool.
So he basically
Okay.
almost wins two out of every 3 games.
But
It's pretty good.
they both win over half their games.
Yeah.
in
That's
their career. And
impressive,
that's,
man.
that's
That's
very impressive.
Still very impressive.
That's why they're still coaching.
Exactly. So Pete Carroll has coached 210 games.
Are we in Seattle right now? What the fuck is with all this rain?
Pete Carroll has coached 210 games with Seattle, and Tomlin has coached 258. 163 wins for Mike Tomlin to 93 losses. Pete Carroll has 128 wins and 81 losses. So technically, Pete Carroll has more wins. Or no. He has less losses than Tomlin.
But he's also played, or he's also coached. Longer
He's
than
also
Tomlin.
coached. Yeah, he's also
How many more years?
he's only coached 4 more years longer than Tomlin, but he was only a head coach for the Seattle.
That's right.
So I mean, it
So it's gonna come
Let's
down.
see,
Who do you
so
prefer?
so if it comes down to who do you prefer, let's see.
That Nick, I don't credit where credit's due, bro. That's it's really when it comes down to it, it's a hard choice to make, but I think overall I would choose Pete Carroll for the success that he's had in the NFL and in the NCAA. So I think for me, that's what it comes down to. He was
Okay.
because you don't get a whole lot
got
of
it.
coaches that are able to be successful in both.
Yeah, and in college, you're doing essentially him rebuilding in Seattle is pretty much what he had to do at USC because you're recruiting and you're losing people, but you're building them back up.
Yeah,
So
true.
that just shows that he just
Yeah.
knows how to build a team and he knows his players very well.
Yeah,
too.
he was really good at cheating at USC.
Yeah.
And plus,
I don't
you
think
said
that had that much to do with him
It
so
wasn't.
much, but
I don't even
Scouts.
consider it cheating.
I think it was more scouts than the head
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah, for sure. But I think you said career, so you have to go with.
Yeah. I mean, you take
have to.
everything
It's
into
not just your-
consideration, good and
NFL
bad.
career. It's your
Good
whole,
and bad.
Your whole career,
Right.
You know, your NFL and college.
It's
so-
kind of because nobody knew who Tomlin was really until he
Broke out,
took
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And took over a storied franchise
like you said,
Right.
a stacked
and
team.
has kept them super relevant his entire time being there.
the entire time. Steelers have been relevant basically
Is it-
since their existence.
flip a coin.
And I love Tomlin's whole thing with the. If you notice,
Pick a race.
they don't pay wide receivers. They don't
Yeah.
like. He's very big on. They'll play out their rookie contract. He's like, nah, I'm really good at drafting, so I'm just gonna replace you guys. Y'all go somewhere else. And it also shows that. I mean, we saw it with Le'Veon Bell. You saw it with. I mean, the whole Le'Veon Bell thing was sad. He should have.
I
Stayed,
get it, but that does
He admits it
having
now,
that
too.
mindset with players like that does hurt. You do have to pay your players sometimes, and I think that's one thing Pete Carroll has figured out. Like he made sure that he paid Doug Baldwin before he paid Russell Wilson because he knew what he had in Doug
I
Baldwin.
don't think Tomlin doesn't know not to pay his players because he.
I mean,
he pays,
AB was
he-
the only wide receiver they ever signed.
It's a balancing act, man. Like
He pays
you
a
have
lot
to-
of his defensive players, if you notice.
He's a
linemen.
defensive coach.
Both of them are.
Yeah, they're both defensive minded coaches.
But that's the balancing act that they do so well. It's like, well, what do I let this extremely talented player
Yeah.
go and then prove that I can bring somebody else in and have us still compete? Like you're not going to find another AB and somebody who's going to play to that level. But can I find a couple other receivers? Because dude, for him being a defensive coach, the Steelers draft receivers extremely well.
Really
I don't know
well.
if
They
they've
find
always
some
had a relevant
gems in
receiver,
there, man.
and they got a couple more already.
Already. What's his?
Timestamp.
Yeah.
47, nice, right on time.
Yeah, I would say even with the Carroll thing, him having the turmoil that him and Russell Wilson had
Right.
actually benefited the team of him getting rid of him before it was too late.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a lot of things.
Bro.
That's a lot of things that other teams do because Ben pretty much played out his career there, but he was getting worse and they couldn't get nothing for him, so they just had to go with the flow. So
Carroll went to the playoffs with his backup. They were like, "Oh, who are you going to
Yeah.
sign somebody? You going to draft somebody? What are you going to do?"
Nah.
No, we're just going to stick with the backup, and I'm going to take us to the playoffs anyway. And they fucking did.
It's crazy.
That's nuts. That doesn't happen.
Not at all.
What's happening with Geno Smith right now does not happen.
Do you think because Geno's been with Seattle for a few years now?
Yeah.
Do you think Pete Carroll over these few years saw the development in Geno Smith and was like and saw that Russell was steadily declining?
I think it was more of like he just liked the work ethic of Geno. Like Pete Carroll's mind when he saw Geno, he was like, "This is my guy. Like who I want playing my quarterback."
Do you think
this
he
is
got
that
over
guy.
the whole like Team 3 bullshit and like?
See, in all honesty, I don't think that really bugged him that much. And I mean, in a sense, you have to kind of give him that little extra leash because he is the franchise quarterback. So I mean, he's going to have his leash, but Pete Carroll didn't let him get too far. He went way too far when he went to Denver. He overstepped boundaries when he went to Denver.
Well, Sean Payton took those boundaries
Yeah.
away.
Thank God he did.
I think it was a win-win for Pete either way.
Yeah,
I do too.
If they would have sucked with Geno, they would have been like, "Well, yeah," like, and he was. could've
we
been like, "You know what?
we got a 4th overall
I'm gonna
pick.
s-
We'll just get a quarterback.
I wanted to
you
give
know?
the guy a chance, but yeah, if we suck, then we're gonna get a good pick. But if we have other good picks, but if we don't, then he looks like a genius.
And-
so either way, it's probably gonna work out for him.
And Russ was a winning quarterback. I mean,
I think you
He-
kind of had to throw out last season.
yeah,
Because
yeah. You
every
throw
other
out
season, he was
last
way better than
because I
what he
mean,
was.
even then, I think
Because now it's clones playing.
even if Russell Wilson was with Seattle still and it wasn't Geno there, they probably would have still went 8-8
probably at least right.
at least.
Maybe
even with Russ
maybe
playing,
another extra
even
win,
with
I don't
Russ
know.
playing as bad as he did, Russ being on Seattle, he would still have that familiarity, and he'd be able to go out there and at least do something.
That's true.
I would say the style of quarterback is what helped Seattle too, because you can say Russell Wilson is more of a I'm going to throw it out there and I'm going to see if the guy can go get it.
Yeah.
Gino just does the little small things that Pete Carroll
Yeah.
likes, like getting the ball out and stuff like that. So I think the system was the way they wanted to go with the team fit Gino more than it would fit Russ.
You're right.
because-
Actually, you're right.
So I think that played a big part in why they said, well, we just go ahead and just let Russ go and let Gino just
Yeah, you're right,
play
you're
in
right.
the confines of the offense.
Do y'all think that that they knew that early? Like you said, he was on the team for about 3 years before he even got to.
They
So
might have
do
known.
You think that they knew he was going to fit that system? They were just
Probably.
They were probably waiting to see. Okay, when can we get the biggest bang for our buck with Russ?
Yeah.
But like you said, you don't want to do it too late. You want to give it to when you still have trade value for this man.
Like, Pete wasn't worried about getting rid of Russ because he saw what was going on with Gino in practice and stuff.
Maybe.
I mean, at some point, you got to be able to
He
notice
has a
that
first-hand experience with watching it every
because we
fucking
all
day.
saw the Geno Smith with New York. Like, that was bad.
Gino wasn't terrible, but yeah, it's being in New York. Being in New York is a different.
It's
and
hard to play in New
regardless
York.
if it's the
It is- it's
Giants
hard
or
to play in New
Jets,
York.
the Yankees, the Mets. It doesn't. Being in New York is a tough market to play in.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
of what the journalists and everybody do
Especially
out
when they're so terribly run.
there. Yes,
You have
that
all
too.
the focus on you and all
Yep.
medias, and the team management around you is terrible.
Yep.
But yet, you're right. You're right, Andrew. That was a good point. Russ is more of an ad-libber. Gino stays on script. But he'll change it when it's the right time.
Yeah.
Russ didn't really change it when it's the right time. He just changed it whenever he panicked.
I
How
think
many-
I'm gonna throw this one deep.
How many times did that motherfucker just roll out of the pocket, and they're still blocking 10 seconds into the play, like,
just
dude,
yeeted
roll
that
the
ball.
ball. And then he just wait and just rely on somebody breaking coverage for 10 seconds, which, of course, is going to happen.
Eventually.
Eventually,
Carson
somebody's going to get open. That's how he made his money. Which, more power to him,
Yeah.
using his athleticism. But, yeah, I think you're right. That was a good point, Andrew.
He did lose a lot of yards though.
So
Yeah.
Getting sacked.
Tomlin,
So-
Carroll, Tomlin, Carroll.
I'm Team Carroll.
I'm Tomlin.
I'm gonna stay Tomlin, man. I mean, y'all gave solid points about Carroll, but
I'm a Tomlin fan.
I like Tomlin.
Where were you at, Spencer?
What you got?
Carroll.
So we're 4-2,
Carroll.
Carroll to Tomlin?
We're
Right.
3-3.
3-3?
Jonathan chose Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
Right, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Now we all tied up.
Right down the middle.
Even race war, just like I like it. No one side's too powerful.
Yeah.
Equality.
Thank you.
Equality.
I
A
I
true
do
Jedi.
get it though, because Pete Carroll. I think what really puts Pete Carroll over the edge is the
2 levels of success.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is what puts him over the edge.
It-
but
it's
I
so
like
impressive.
that. I like that Tomlin has been so young and has had so much success in the NFL
And still
He's
having it.
at
Right.
the highest level. He started. I think Pete Carroll was what 40. Let me double check.
Yeah, he was born in the
He
40s.
was 43 when he started. So in
Started coaching?
and yes, when Pete Carroll started coaching, he was 43.
I mean, he's like 70-something now, so
and
that's
Mike,
it's been a
Mike
minute.
Tomlin was 35 when he started.
yeah.
Yeah, I knew he was when he
So-
got that head coaching job. I remember at that time,
Yeah.
it was
Super
one of the
young.
youngest ones. I
Yes,
mean,
he
now
was,
it's
he
obviously
was.
been surpassed,
Yes.
but
But at that time, he was the young and one of the most successful young head coaches.
yeah, for
in
sure,
the league.
absolutely.
It's close.
It is close.
I will say this for the Tomlin believers, he's got a lot of time to catch up to Pete.
Yep.
Pete might be
Yep.
done pretty soon. It's kind of probably going to have to be.
I can give Pete maybe about 3-4 more years
Right.
of good solid coaching.
I think if they happen to win one, I don't know if they will, but if they did, he'd be done.
Oh yeah.
Or Tomlin could win
Oh, yeah.
one and be like, "No, what are
Yeah.
you talking about?
He
I'm
could
50
definitely
I'm
hang
only
it up after
51.
that,
I'm
yeah.
still going."
I mean, I still got 30 years if you're gonna catch up to Pete Carroll. So
Exactly.
I
Pushing 40
mean,
Exactly.
I'm just saying that's
That's
whew,
wild.
that's a long time to coach.
Hell yeah.
And
He's
it
got
is
plenty of time to
completely
catch
possible.
up to him.
So, what about them fantasy teams? You're talking about
Oh, the
Is this for NFL? Is this like
yes, yes.
NFL rosters that are fantasy stacked
Fantasy stacked. Most fantasy stacked NFL teams.
right
Yes.
now or like all time?
No, right now.
Right now.
Right now.
now.
Going
Ooh.
into
Right
the
now.
season.
Going into
I
the
got
season.
I got 3 on my mind.
I got 3 on my
But-
mind as well immediately.
I think my number 3 would be the Eagles
Yes. Yeah.
because you have Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. So just the duo.
Hold
of,
on,
What?
Dallas Goddard. Keep going.
I'm-
You got to name them all, man. If,
Hold on,
if
hold
you're going
on.
to name the stacked roster, name the
Was
stacked
I done
roster.
talking?
But you were going into a different. You were naming.
You don't know what I was
stopped
about to
naming.
say.
You stopped naming.
Yeah, I did.
So I'm only counting 3 people. That's not enough for me.
You let me make my own argument, and then you argue against it. So, like I was saying, the duo of Devontae Smith
Yes.
and AJ
A.J.
Brown,
Brown.
they could both potentially finish as number 1 receivers. They got close last year, and then you add in Dallas Goddard, who I was going to talk about, who was injured last year, but in the games he played, saw
Yeah.
plenty of
Oh,
fucking
bro,
opportunities.
100-yard receiver every time.
Yeah. Zach Ertz is gone, so you have him. I think it doesn't really matter. I think it's one of those offenses. It doesn't really matter who's running the ball. They're going to be a good team. They have RPOs with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is going to get his. He proved himself as a dual threat. A lot of people had question marks about his passing ability. I think he shut everybody up last season. Obviously, he's a fucking bruiser whenever he runs. He's kind of like a Josh Allen type. He's not going to burn you, but you don't really want to take him down. He's tough to take down. And then DeAndre Swift, I actually like that. I think he fits their system. He's not a every down guy, but you give him his opportunities, he's going to ball out. And then they still have Gainwell, who I like a lot.
Rashad Penny too.
Rashad Penny,
Yeah.
If
stays healthy,
he stays healthy, we've seen what he can produce fantasy wise when he's healthy.
they're one of the few teams I think could have one person from every skill position that finishes as a top 12,
Yeah.
which is a starter, which is the best starter you can get. So you have
Yes.
a quarterback who's probably top 3,
Yeah.
Yeah.
top 5.
Yes.
You
for
have
sure.
a tight end who, if he stays healthy, he's definitely a tight end 1. You have 2 wide receivers who could finish wide receiver 1. And I think at worst, you probably have 2 running backs who are RB2s.
And so the Eagles would be higher on your list if it wasn't for the question of the running back's health, right?
Correct. Which
Correct.
I could easily see me being wrong.
Yeah,
Very easily.
definitely.
Okay. You want to do yours or?
I think I would have to go back to the Seattle thing because getting the
Hell yeah.
Njigba, that boosts the team significantly a lot because I think that's what they were missing last year.
Bro, that's
So
nuts.
so
That's
you got
nuts.
3 of those, and then you have Kenneth Walker, but you brought in brought in Zach Charbonnet.
Yes.
Who
and
is
that's going to help because when
very good.
Kenneth went down, they didn't have nothing outside of him.
They didn't.
So that was tough for them. I'll even take it a step further and say that if the defense the defense got better. If they play a lot better, that gives more opportunities for the offense too.
100%.
So I would have to say Seattle is has to be one of my top 3.
And on that Seattle, if Noah Fant can like figure something out, like in stretches,
Yeah.
he's been
Yeah.
good in stretches.
Yeah.
But if he can figure his game out, like he's shown high potential.
Yeah, definitely.
As a tight end, like he has it, it's there. It's just again we only see it in stretches, and for whatever reason, dude just disappears.
And
He's an athletic freak.
And Gino would be the perfect quarterback for like a tight end.
yeah,
So
You know what's fun? What quarterback finish do you think Gino had in our league last year? 'Cause I know.
I think it was QB7. Yeah.
So I think he was QB7.
No.
I think it
No,
was
I think-
5.
I was
5?
gonna
I think it was quarterback 5.
It might have been
man.
quarterback 5.
And all they did was give him the best slot receiver, the best overall receiver in the draft,
Yes.
and another solid 1-2. They got him a 1-2 punch at running back now.
Yep.
Which is also going to help Walker too. He
Yeah.
take less carries. So
Yeah,
Definitely.
I like Charbonnet actually. a lot.
Definitely.
I
And
really
that-
do, I
that's
do
gonna-
too. I thought
that-
it was a pretty good
That's
steal.
going to help the offensive line a lot too. Like Gino getting the ball out too.
Yeah.
So they're not there. Yeah.
Play action.
So play action.
Yeah.
That's going to help them. So
They're gonna be.
What
they're gonna
about
be
you,
fun
Nate?
to watch,
Who's your
man.
number 3?
So I didn't know we were doing 3.
I just said I have my own 3. But you
Okay.
can
I
say
have my
whatever
own
you
3 as
want.
But
well.
We're just
I'll
winging
tell
it.
you who I thought was the most fantasy stacked team was the San Francisco 49ers.
That's a good one too.
Because you've seen even with the scheme with any quarterback that is in there, they can still dominate a game
Yep.
on every side of the ball. And having Christian McCaffrey and what is his name? Elijah
Elijah Mitchell.
Yes. having them back there as your running backs and
Stay healthy,
both
Mitchell.
of them being damn near 1,000-yard rushers, each in their own right. I mean, it's crazy.
No, you're
And
not
then
wrong.
Now you
and-
have Debo back there as well. Now you're making it insane.
And again, like last year, we saw the 5 games that Mitchell played. He was averaging over 6 yards a carry.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude's a track star.
And then now you're
Yes.
getting Ayuk to actually get actual touches now.
Who I think is also very underrated. So
Very.
then you have tight end you.
Yep. Tight end you with Mr. Kittle. And Kittle is an all-around tight end. That man
Yes.
will do it all for you.
I
if
still
you
think
ask
he's
him.
underutilized in the passing game.
He is.
He is.
He is.
But he's so damn good blocking.
But Purdy,
But he's so good. Yeah, with
but
their
Purdy's
offense.
Purdy started using him more. That's the reason why they started getting better.
No, yeah,
was
I
because
agree.
Purdy was
Yeah,
starting
I
to
don't disagree
utilize
with that.
Kittle like he's supposed to. That's why Purdy was doing so good. He was using that security blanket like a security blanket.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I agree with you, Nick.
I was thinking about something. The only thing that scared me when it comes to, I guess, drafting CMC high is when Elijah Mitchell played. Obviously, he played less.
He's right.
That kind of scared me because remember he was on my team, and I remember when Elijah Mitchell played, he was obviously getting less carries and stuff like that. So that would be the only thing that would limit the upside of both of them. That's the only thing that would scare me.
Do you think that had to do with CMC only being there for a short amount of time?
I don't think so.
I don't think.
Or
I
do you think
think
that's just Shanahan, like, just
Utilizing
knowing how
one-
to
yeah.
utilize what he has?
If you
Yeah.
look at the splits in and out, he's right. If you look at McCaffrey with
Okay.
Elijah Mitchell on the field and without, it's a big difference.
Yeah, it was. It kind of yeah. So it like obviously when he was hurt, his upside went up, but when he was there, it limited. When
That
Elijah
scares me
Mitchell was
too.
there, yeah, that kind of scares me a little bit.
That
If you're
scares me too.
picking McCaffrey top 5.
Somebody's probably whoever gets number 1 pick's probably taking him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. But it does worry me too. Yeah.
I agree.
So we're doing what, top 3?
If you want to, you do whoever you
You
want.
can just say whatever you want.
Seattle-
I just saying I had 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually had 4. My 4th was Dallas, but Seattle.
Dallas isn't a bad
I can
choice,
see
my
that.
guy.
And it was between Dallas and Seattle for my 3rd spot. So
Yeah.
if Pollard, if we can just find a healthy, actually I like that running back from that we've been having, Davis.
Yeah.
He's not bad, and if you go look up when he does carry the ball, he's averaging
actually
6, 7
decent,
yards
yeah.
a carry. It's crazy. I get Vaughn, but you already know how I am with rookies. I don't. When that bright light comes on, it's a big different story. I mean, you play JV in football, but when you play on Friday nights in varsity and you suit up, it's different. So we'll see. I hope Vaughn, his structure, man, I hope, but I'm not putting all my chips on rookie. I'm on a rookie. But
I understand
that's
it. I
always been
understand
me.
it.
So,
I understand it.
but I do that. You're in something else. I got Seattle.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I got about 4, but I think if I'm going to do 3, I'm going to say the Bengals for my 3rd.
Okay.
Simply because even though Joe Mixon's kind of had a really down year for real football, fantasy-wise, he was still
solid
He's
as fuck.
still solid fantasy-wise. And then you got T. Higgins, who can pick up any slack, who can finish as a number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Jamar Chase, you got Joe Burrow.
I would say the only thing about the Bengals is they were one of the worst rushing teams last year, but them using Joe Mixon as a pass catcher. I mean, didn't Jamar Chase miss some time too?
Yeah.
So them using him as a pass catcher, actually that hired his upside too. So
Yeah.
if they keep him like that, using him like that, then yeah, I can see that. Even if they're not running the ball well. So
No, yeah.
see
I
that.
mean, I had him last year in our league, and he was phenomenal. Even with him only averaging like 50 yards on the ground a game, he was still producing like heavily fantasy-wise.
definitely, yeah. And I guess you say if the offensive line takes a step up too.
And they did try to fix
they-
that. They
yeah,
went and
so
got
they-
Orlando
so,
Brown.
yeah.
They went and got a couple other guys to plug in there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to make things better too for Joe Burrow. They
And that-
are
yeah,
trying.
and that's the thing that is holding them back, obviously, from a Super Bowl was the offensive line, because you can see it in
Man.
the game, in the Super Bowl game.
Oh.
That was literally if they had a better offensive line, yeah,
It would have been a
Yeah.
whole nother ball game. Yeah.
yeah.
I actually have 49ers next, but I'll go over some
I did
honorable
too.
mentions. I had Dallas on my list. I considered 49ers are on there. Seattle was on there. I thought about the Chargers. I think they could be on there too.
Yep.
Yeah.
My next one's actually probably a surprise to everybody. Press the button. Press the button. Press the button.
That's my no-no square.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Bro,
That's a good auto. I was one of my
think-
honorable mentions. Yeah.
I think
When you
quick
said
draw
3,
law-
that was the next thing I was thinking
It's funny
of.
you say that because I had Jacksonville as my number 1.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah?
They're not my number 1, but I think I actually have them number 2. I think Quick Draw Law is going to have a great season. I think I have a weird take on, well, not probably a weird take. I don't think Calvin Ridley's going to be the person that they think he is.
I think he will be.
I think Christian
think he will
Kirk's
be.
better than people give him credit for.
I think Christian Kirk will be the certified number 1.
I think
but
exactly.
Calvin Ridley
Yes.
is going to be a number 2, but a number 1 if he were to go.
I think
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be a solid 1A 1B between the two. of
Almost
them.
like
should be.
how the Bengals with T.
That's
Higgins
exactly
and Jamar
what- that
Chase
was
are
my
almost,
exact
they're
comparison.
yeah,
almost
that's
exactly the
that's
same.
yes.
I
Almost
think
exactly the same.
people have the idea of Ridley and Kirk flip-flopped. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I think everybody thinks Ridley's going to be better than Kirk, and I think
I
it's
don't
actually
think.
the
I
other
don't.
way
Yeah,
around.
I think it is.
But they still have Evan Ingram, who probably had a resurgence last year, we
Yep.
would say, and now he has 2 receiving weapons to take attention away from him. So he's a good option. Travis Etienne is a great,
Etienne.
well-rounded back, and they have
Yes.
Tank Bigsby, who I think is actually going to have a role too.
And Etienne has that familiarity with Sunshine as
He
well
does.
from being with Clemson.
I think they're going to
Also-
mesh well together, and they have an easy schedule. That's the number one thing for me.
Even though
easy
he's their
schedule.
third option, or at times I guess with
Division,
Evan
for
Ingram,
sure.
he's their fourth option. But Zay Jones, man, Zay Jones was a quality plug-in guy in fantasy.
He's
last
going to
year.
be
Yeah.
a good wide receiver 3.
He was a good,
That's what I'm
great
saying.
flex option.
That's
great
what-
flex option.
Yeah,
Wide receiver 3 flex option. for
he had
Hell yeah.
several games with 8+ catches.
Yeah.
So
Well, obviously, that him Calvin really being back limits the upside.
it
but,
does,
but,
it does.
yeah.
But
I see where you're going with that. Yeah. I see
yeah,
where you're going.
just the fantasy quality that is on there.
And I think that's them having those 3 receivers. I think that's why Quick Draw Law is going to win MVP. I can see it.
I have him up there in my
They're
MVP
going to have a
race.
good enough record. They're going to at least. I think they're going to at least win 12 games.
Oh, they
and-
definitely
yeah.
make the playoffs. They're
Yeah.
they're obviously going to blow out that
I think
division. It sucks.
he's one of my favorites to win it though.
I love quick draw law.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. I would say I have another one. I'm gonna say, even though they exceeded expectations last year, I would say Miami is another one. Only thing question about them is the running game. That's the only question about it. Yeah. So you had Jalen Waddle. I remember getting him. He was like the 30th receiver taken off the board, and he finished top 5. And you have 2 top 5 receivers.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're gonna. I'm not sure who they have at tight end though.
I don't think it
I know
matters.
I know what's
They
left.
they actually took a rookie. They
Gesicki.
So they got a rookie,
Gesicki
okay.
went to New
yeah,
England,
Gesicki Love, yeah.
Yeah.
and then they drafted one in the 4th round. But
I don't think
again,
it
this was a
matters.
very heavy
Heavy
tight
draft,
end
yeah.
class. So, well,
yeah.
I mean, we obviously we don't know. You'll see,
Yeah.
but
They made my honorable mention.
Yeah,
and
they would be
would have
honorable
made.
mention.
They would have made my number 1. I think if Tua stays healthy, they're the best.
He ain't got a strong neck, bro.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though.
He needs to do some neck exercises.
I don't like
Yeah.
Tua, but I mean, I'm not going to pretend like he can't produce receivers and good
But I
fantasy
think,
options.
but I think those are the perfect receivers for him because
They
we
are.
know he doesn't have a strong arm. But
He'll be bailed
we
out.
know he's very accurate. Yeah, he will be bailed out at times. He was too. He'll be very accurate, and with those receivers being able to run those kind of routes will help him a lot.
I think
Well, they-
Jalen Waddle is like a top 5 receiver if he goes to a different team.
Oh yeah.
So they have 2. I think Jalen Waddle would be, if he went to any other team
Ooh,
with a
I
decent
don't know about-
quarterback,
yeah,
he's
there
a
you
top
go.
5 wide receiver.
and they also
Yeah.
They
It's just the fact
also-
they're on the same team.
at running back they have Jeff Wilson and Mostert, which
And A-Chain, who is
A-Chain now they
he ran
now
a
have
4.3.
who might end up taking over.
He might
in
at
that
some point.
backfield.
You hope so.
So they have
Yeah.
3 solid options at running back. If they can just
So-
find out a combination of those
Yeah.
3, they're going
Yeah,
to be
if they
good
can
too.
figure that out, yeah.
Because Mostert's a track star. He was a track star at Purdue. He actually, the last 2 seasons, he had the fastest miles per hour for a ball carrier. So Buddy can scoot. A-Chain ran a 4.340. He can scoot. And then if you get close, you have Jeff Wilson who can just pound it the fuck
So you
in.
would say A-Chain would be the pass catcher most likely.
He probably will be.
Will be
Yeah.
the pass catcher.
Mostert doesn't have the greatest hands.
Yeah, he
So-
doesn't have a great. Yeah.
It's
He's
not
just
gonna
a jet
depend on-
sweep, like outside the tackles kind of runner.
Yeah.
And then you have A-Chain who can probably be good for RPOs. He's good for checkdowns. He's good on the end arounds, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then you have Jeff Wilson who's going to punch it between the tackles. You might see all three dudes on one drive.
Since we just talked about them and Evan Ingram, he just signed a 3-year deal of $42.5 million with $25.5 fully guaranteed.
He's going to be playing there for a minute.
Yeah. He's
All
gonna
right.
be there for a while.
Back to
Solidifying the choice.
the Tua thing. Does it matter if he stays healthy or not with all the firepower that they have as far as
No,
the
that's
fantasy?
the only thing that
That's
matters.
the
is
Yeah,
if he
because
stays healthy.
once he got hurt, that's when they toed off. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That's
what I
Skylar
like
out
about
there.
Miami is that they went out and got Mike White, who is a good backup,
Yes.
and I think that was obviously
He got
their
hurt,
intention.
too.
He did get hurt. Hey,
Yeah.
If he
tried
stayed
to
healthy, they still
he
would have been
tried to
fine.
finish that game though.
He did. He
Yeah.
He
wanted
did
to.
try to play it out, but
That's
he
Skylar
is. I think
Thompson.
he has shown to be one of the better backups in the league.
Yeah.
And with the talent that they have, if Tua does go down, I don't think you have to worry as much because he can step in and win games. And with
Oh,
the
yeah.
receiving talent,
He's way better than what they're putting out there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm not going to disagree. I just said that I like him. I didn't say he was awesome.
He's better than Baker, who you like.
I do like Baker. I'm not saying he's great. I just said I like Baker.
Mike White deserves a starting job over Baker.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's a hot take.
Yeah.
Spencer's
Yeah,
coming
because-
around.
yeah.
He's like, you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, because what the receivers
Yeah.
the receivers even have at Tampa Bay definitely, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
If Baker was going to do anything, now's the time because he's got
Yeah.
two great receivers
yes.
and a great receiving back.
If Baker, the only way he'll continue his career if he bums out this year, a journeyman quarterback. That's it. Like you have no place anywhere else. You have
Yeah.
to show out this
Yeah,
year.
you have to.
With the talent on offense that you have around you, and with
Forget
their
the defense.
offense,
Who cares?
Yeah.
and they did have last year. They did have two of their best linemen that were hurt and out for this season. So with everybody
True.
coming back, everybody healthy, and you have a quality defense, Baker does not have an excuse.
Yeah.
You get out there and shit the bed those first 5 games, you're done, dude.
Yeah.
You no longer will ever get a chance to be a starting quarterback.
The running
You're
game
done.
is going to be the big question too. That's going to be a big
Yeah,
question.
I do like White though.
Would you say that this is Baker's best team he's been on?
Yes,
Since-
Offensively.
offensively,
You think so?
Overall, no. But
and overall,
offensively,
yeah.
yes.
Cleveland's defense is better.
Yeah, Cleveland, yeah.
They
was
have
the
a better.
best
They've
team
had
he was on.
they've had a good defense for a while now.
Yeah.
But offense, yeah.
But offense, that
Yeah.
talent, dude.
Chris Godwin and Mike
Chris-
Evans and Rashad White all catching passes.
Only
Yeah.
question mark Chris Godwin
Come on.
staying healthy. It's the only thing with Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
also
only
I don't
thing.
know who their tight end is though.
They got
They used the rookie last year.
Caden Auden.
Cade
Auden.
Auden.
Cade Auden.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did all right.
He was
stepping
pretty
in.
decent when he
Yeah.
stepped in. Yeah.
Now we'll see how he is in a full time role. So,
Yeah, and it's nope. Rookie tight ends usually don't play well anyway. So
although
Give
I
him
still
second,
think
third
they
year.
should trade homeboy Mike Evans.
yeah, I don't think he wants to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't think he does either. I think he truly loves
he
being in
might
Tampa.
just stay. Yeah, he might just stay for life.
Which is nothing wrong. He got him a ring. He's already
Oh, yeah.
he's already a Hall of Famer. So
yeah.
he's a solidified first ballot Hall of
got him
Famer.
that ring. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. My number one, unfortunately, and y'all probably argue with me, which I want you to, is Kansas City. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're
think
thinking.
Patrick Mahomes boost them that much?
He was quarterback 1.
Yes.
Travis Kelce is tight end 1. If you take any two players in fantasy and combine their points, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce score way more points than anybody else. Just those two alone are better than any other 1-2 combination. Jerick McKinnon
better than
in our league-
better than Kirk Cousins and
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 JJ.
JJ?
Yep,
Yes.
Damn.
they did.
Yeah.
Which is wild because JJ was by far the number 1 wide receiver.
Bless you.
But if you compare those two together, they score way more points than
And
anybody
in,
else.
like Tim was about to say,
37.
in our league, Jarek McKinnon
He
was
went
a
off.
monster.
I think he still has a role carved out. I think he's not gonna score as many touchdowns as he did last year. I think that's impossible. But I still think he finishes as an RB2. But just because you get Patrick and Travis,
Yeah.
and I do think this year they will have a number 1 receiver. I think somebody is going to emerge.
I-
Last year,
I-
they passed the buck. I think this year it's going to be either Sky Moore, Rasheed Rice.
I was about to
or
say
Kadarius
Rice.
Toney.
I really like Rice
D-Hop.
from SMU. He couldn't have fallen into a better
They're
situation.
still in the running for D-Hop. What if they
D-Hop.
sign D-Hop?
If they
Then
get
it's not even
D-Hop,
close.
Yeah, he hasn't gone anywhere yet. He
Exactly.
hasn't.
If they get D-Hop,
Game over.
Trust me, I get the 1-2-3 punch of Joe Burrow and T. Higgins.
No,
Jamar
for sure.
Chase,
Well,
but-
and the Bengals were my number 3. I had Jacksonville as my number 1,
Bro,
and
Mahomes-
San Fran as my number 2.
Mahomes and Kelsey,
So,
it's just like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man.
that, yeah.
Both
For
of them combined scored almost I think they scored almost 800.
You said
fantasy
Chicago
points.
Bears was your number 1?
Yeah.
for sure. Detroit Lions. Woo,
woo!
They're not gonna be bad, man.
They're not. They're not.
I picked them winning the division, and I played against them.
It'll be
I'm already
interesting.
getting hyped up.
It'll be interesting.
I'm already getting
Who
hyped
you
up.
got? Who you got?
Can't forget about my purple and black Baltimore Ravens. Can't forget about that. Can't forget about that. Stop, cause y'all gonna be drafted though. Y'all keep y'all gonna be drafted though.
I like it though.
Yeah.
When you look at the upgrade in their wide receiver room, what their running backs can do when healthy,
Yes.
and what Lamar Jackson we've seen him do, and Mark Andrews, I like it.
Yes, I think.
I like Zay Flowers. I just think that it's going to come down to injuries again.
That
that's
would
what
be the
scares
question.
me.
Yes.
That's
That
what
would be the
scares me.
question. That would be the question.
I think one of the biggest things with Baltimore, their biggest factor is now they have Lamar locked in. Like that, like having Lamar now have the mental fortitude to go out there and play now. I think that's what's really going to boost them. Is that
Yeah.
Lamar's going to be able to take back over and be Lamar again.
Yeah, and obviously they would have finished higher last year a bit, but they had a injury at every skill position.
I was about to say, yeah, it was injury, and then don't get me wrong, I love your upgrades and OBJ, man. If he stays healthy, I comeback player of the year, bro. I just because Lamar, he's
in the running already.
He's already exactly
without playing.
With that, and it's crazy, but I mean, I just the injury bug, man. That's
That
the only
would be
I
thing
knew
that
he was
scares
going
me.
to say the Ravens, and I had an
Yeah.
argument
Yeah,
kind of against it, sort of.
go ahead.
I knew you were going to say Ravens. So I like the additions they did at wide receiver because I think it helps, but I guess it's not really an argument against it. I think what's actually going to happen is I don't think any of those receivers are going to matter as much as people think, and I think all it's going to do is free up Mark Andrews.
But that was the case that I made before they got the receivers. I was saying that Lamar didn't really need the receivers. I'm
he
saying
doesn't,
they,
and I don't think he still does.
I don't think he really needed a number one alpha.
I think what's
I
going to
don't think
happen
that-
is
yeah.
they're going to make Mark Andrews a borderline tight end one. Well, he is a tight end one.
Yeah.
The tight end one with Travis Kelce. I think they're going to be close.
Yeah.
I think everybody's saying, like, who's going to be our number one receiver? Is it going to be Rashad? Is it going to be Zay? Is it going to be OBJ? I don't think it's going to be. There's going to be one.
And
It's always been
yeah.
Mark Andrews,
but
though.
I
It's
think it's going
always
to be
been like-
700,
yeah.
800
Yeah,
yard
it's
guys.
always-
And this is Mark Andrews going to go fucking wild.
And
Because they're good enough to get the coverage off of him, and he's just going to be open in the
Yeah,
middle of the field.
I can see the argument against it because
I don't
like
even
was-
say
yeah.
it's really against.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but I can see how it lowered the ceiling would lower.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, I'm always thought that for the offense and the quarterback that Lamar is, he doesn't need a number one receiver.
No.
Not an alpha.
I guess what I'm trying to say is instead of people thinking one of their wide receivers is going to be a draftable wide receiver 2,
Yeah.
I think they're going to be 3s and 4s, and then Mark Andrews is just going to be a fucking steal.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I saw it.
Okay. I see.
And
that.
Lamar is going to have a way better season
Yeah.
because he's going to have the bailouts of the wide receiver. Normally, tight end's the bailout, but for him, it's opposite. His wide receivers are going to be his bailout, and Mark Andrews is going to be the number one read because he's nasty.
Yeah.
Because he's a nasty boy.
which,
Boomer Sooner.
He's been it since.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
since day one. That's what I mean. My brother is a Baltimore fan, so I know, and I tell him all the time, bro. You don't have a quarterback, you got a running back. But I mean, I just play with them. But I mean, they don't got a tight end. They got our wide receivers, just like you said, Kelsey. It's gonna be like Kelsey, and it's gonna be fun to see if they stay healthy. If everybody stays healthy, it's gonna be fun to see Lamar and
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes battling, and
Yeah.
then it's gonna be fun to
AFC
see
is so
Kelsey.
fucking stacked, bro.
And,
Yeah.
and if they get
Stupid.
D Hop, it's gonna
Bro.
be nuts.
You have Patrick Mahomes. You have Josh Allen. You have
They
Justin
got all
Herbert,
the
you have
Lamar offense.
Jackson,
The NFC has all
Trevor
the defense.
Lawrence. Jesus.
NFC has all the defense.
All right.
That's all it is. It's
Jordan
just-
Love. You got no all you got is Jalen Hurts, dog. Come on. You got Jalen Hurts and Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott.
all offense in the
Do
AFC, all defense in the NFC.
Shit. Yeah, you're right. That really
Yeah.
is how it is.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
you have the top 3 defenses in the NFC, and you have the top 3 offenses In the
in the
AFC.
AFC. You're right. You
It's
ain't lying.
stupid.
You ain't
It's
lying.
stupid.
It's like they're trying to compete with well, they
Yeah,
keep getting these
yeah.
offensive players, so now we got to get defense. If we want to win the Super Bowl, we
Yeah.
got to combat it.
As
Yep.
much as I don't want to admit it, I still give Philly a little advantage with the number one offense too, bro. They're
Yeah.
solid, bro.
I
They're
give
solid, too.
Philly might
They're-
be the best in the NFC, but
Most well-rounded.
I think because of the quarterback play in the AFC, it's kind of tough.
Oh yeah,
If Jalen Hurts is in the AFC, he's not.
he's not as.
He's probably like fourth on the list. To me.
Yeah.
But then the NFC, he's the best NFC quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody's competing with him in the NFC.
No, not
His
right now.
competition's literally Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins,
Dak Prescott.
Dak
Not
Prescott,
even.
Daniel Jones.
He had an amazing Super Bowl performance too.
Yeah, he did. One fumble away. They were one fumble away
Yeah.
from winning it.
Without that fumble, they might have won.
They probably
like,
do.
Like when you look at his performance and his numbers, his Super Bowl performance was very good. It just
toe to toe with Mahomes the whole time.
Yeah.
He just made the one mistake you can't make. That was it.
Yeah.
I still don't think Smitty caught that ball. I don't care what.
I don't think he did either.
Dez didn't catch it either, so that's fine.
Oh,
Fuck
whoa.
you. Fuck you.
Yeah, we gotta get that one.
You know damn well he caught it.
Your
He didn't catch shit.
Your laugh.
What are you
your
talking
laugh
about?
Isn't even.
He was here and the ball was like somewhere over there or somewhere. I don't know where the fuck.
The defender was over there. The ball. Was
I've always told people, according to the rules, it
Yeah.
wasn't a catch, but
Yeah.
it was a catch.
Yeah.
2 years later, catch.
That pissed.
Yeah.
That pissed.
they've
me off
already
more
said
than
it
anything.
years later. Like with all the different rule
Should've.
changes and stuff, it's a catch.
Yeah.
That pissed me off more than anything.
It was a weird. Dude,
No, not regular season. Regular season.
it was karma
Yeah,
all
we-
playoffs.
we swept
y'all
them.
really should not have beat Detroit.
And then-
we shouldn't have beat y'all,
Yeah.
and Seattle shouldn't have beat us.
Yes.
Every time the
That
NFC
could have been our
advanced.
best year. That could have been our yes. If DeMarco
Yeah,
Murray would have
us
never
too.
fumbled it with green grass, we would have won.
Us too.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Got a lucky
but
break on the catch, and then what do we
everybody
do?
talks about the catch, but they don't talk about the DeMarco Murray fumble with green grass. What
That's
was
true.
it like in the third quarter?
Yeah,
I always
think
say
so.
if you get down to that point in the game where one thing changes it, then you didn't do a lot of stuff right before that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have to put yourself in a position where it's
It
something
comes
like
down to
that
the very
changes your
last-
outcome.
Yes.
Because everybody, it's easy to point like, oh, we lost because of that. Like, no.
They didn't. They
Like,
didn't
why
watch
are
the
you
full
that?
game.
Why are you down in the? Why are you down right now anyway? You fucked something up earlier.
Exactly.
A lot of shit led to that.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. That's probably time to call it, guys. We just survived the storm.
Damn right.
It's already over.
Yes, sir.
Ain't scared no Nader.
So thanks for tuning in, y'all. Make sure you give us a like, a follow, a subscribe,
Yep.
comment,
Yep.
send us a message by carrier pigeon, whatever
Damn
you got to
right.
do. Just
Anything.
shout out to us, guys. And we also have some Patreon info and some content
down, James
coming up.
Harden.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is
Go catch us.
patreon.com/ESPOD. Thank y'all for tuning in. Love y'all. We're going to see you on the next episode.